I'll probably record this. All right, guys. So we're gonna start doing these live trading sessions during the New York session. They're gonna be led mainly by Brian. I'm gonna hop on these two. What's up, Suni? What do you think, Brian? We'll do them like maybe twice a week, maybe Tuesday, Thursday. Just kind of depends on if we can get on.
Yeah, no, that sounds about right.
Yeah, I totally even forgot about today. I was like, what day is it? Thursday?
Yeah, feel you on that.
I was like, holy shit. All right, why don't you go ahead, share up your chart, and guys, so how it's gonna work is these are mainly gonna be like intraday just scalp positions. Like we're not gonna be holding these really beyond the New York session. We're gonna be looking for the best opportunities in this session. You know, if there are no trades, then there's no trades, and we'll go over. Brian, we could run through a bit the tools we're using too. Like if we're just waiting for trades, we could kind of just turn it into a little bit educational as well. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna run through some analysis. If you've already got stuff kind of marked up, you could run through what you're like looking at and waiting for, and then I'll hop on and just kind of mark some stuff up too.
Yep. Yeah, for GU, yeah, let me help set some context first just to let you guys know like what I'm looking at least contextually. So the way I draw these zones is based on volume profile. So what I do here is I'll pull up the daily volume profile here. And anytime I see the daily profiles overlap, I'll draw what we call as a composite zone, right? So I will
The
pull up
infamous
this fixed range.
composite zone. What is this?
Yep.
Someone said, could you provide insight into the UJ drop? No, if you guys have questions, we're gonna let Brian run through just a brief overview of the tools we're using. And then if you got questions, just post up in the chat and we can cover them towards the end.
Yeah, because Angela, you're starting to pull this in, so this might help set context for everybody when they start seeing these tools. So both of these are available under the volume profile. So if you go under indicators, volume profile, session volume is what shows your daily volume profiles. And then your fixed range is how you draw your composite. So you click on the fixed range, close. And then whenever you see the profiles overlap, right, you see there's like the darker area here and a lighter shaded area. So this is just showing obviously majority of volume and transactions have taken in this zone. And that blue line is what's called the point of control. So that is where the majority of buyers and sellers took trades at that price point during that day. So when we see these volume profile areas overlap, what we can do is we can draw that zone from the opening of that day and then drag it to the close of the following day that overlaps.
Yeah, and using this tool is a bit, I'm starting to get used to it a little bit more because you do have to be pretty precise with like these two sessions that overlap. Like it can't be too far away from each other. Like it really has to be, like it has to make sense. Like you can't just draw these wherever.
Right, and that's where it's like there is a little bit of judgment on that too, right? Where it's like obviously the markets aren't going to be perfect, so you know, there's going to be some times where the profiles will sometimes overlap, not fully, but that'll be kind of based on your judgment. When it's okay, this looks like a bit of a value zone that you can mark up, and some people say, hey, I'm not going to mark that; it doesn't overlap enough. So there's a little bit of judgment there. So once you have that composite zone, then you can mark that off yourself, right? So that red line is now your point of control based on those 2 days. And then you're drawing your box tool within that value area. So all that's saying is, right, this is now a value zone. So this just gives us a little bit of context, right? Just based on people transacting within this area. Is now it's context for price to be within this zone. So you can almost view it as 3 different areas. So we have the point of control here, right? Which is where I have majority of transactions. So we're gonna say, okay, price is probably going to react here. And then we have what we call the edge of value on this side, as well as this side. So these are other areas where price could react to. So almost 3 different areas. So we have the point of control and the edge of values. So that's where what I use it to help set context, because what the theory is when we have this value zone, price is going to stay within this value area, right? So based on this edge of value, I want to see price either rebound off this and come back up to this point of control and, possibly take profit there. Or I want to see price fall out of this value zone, come back up, reject, and then come back down to this value zone. Right, so that's where it just helps set a little bit in our VWAP tool.
My question is,
So the VWAP, go ahead.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
At the edge of these composite zones, like, so how are you weighing the center of control versus the edge of the zone? Like, are you using the center of control as more of a resistance level, or you know what I mean? Like, now that, for example, in this situation, it's bouncing off of this, the edge of the edge of this composite zone right here, that's now considered as like support for you.
Yeah, support or possibly flip to resistance, right? Because that's where it's just like, as I was saying, price is going to either want to stay within range of this value area, or it's going to pop out. So it just increases. I don't know if it's more or less. It's just the probability is higher for price to react to these edges and the point of control. Right, so that's where it's just like, okay, I could possibly enter along here if price finds support, and I can take profits here at point of control, or I can target the opposite side of value. So it's just like pretty much 3 different price points here.
And this is all pretty much 5-minute, right? You're just sitting on the 5-minute.
Yeah, I'm on the 5-minute now. That's where I usually sit for when I take trades and looking at like intraday using the VWAP.
Do you bump up at all to like the 30-minute or the 15?
I'll bump up to the 30, at the beginning of the day, just kind of look at, where prices moved throughout the week. And definitely when I'm drawing my composite zones, because that just helps, obviously, you want a bit of a larger picture there when looking at the volume profiles.
Yeah, I've been noticing, because I'm obviously trying to implement this along with, because I haven't done much testing, so I'm trying to implement it along with like what I'm kind of already doing, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I've been going down from like the higher time frames down to the lower time frames, and then if I see something where it's like lining up to be bearish on the higher time frame, I'll just start to attack it on the lower time frame. It's like quite effective, but I'm trying to still get used to drawing these zones, because there's obviously a lot of zones here to like worry about. And you're trading mainly what, GU?
GU and UCAD are my main 2, and sometimes I'll pop over to GJ if there's nothing really clear between those 2 pairs. But yeah, because I'm just knowing that my style is more intraday, that's why I'm drawing more composite zones where I will combine when it's just 2 days, right? Like here's another good example of a composite zone, right? Where like price came down, found a bit of support and ranged here for 2 days. So that's saying, okay, there's value built here because for 2 days straight, we've had people buying and selling positions in this zone, right? So when price comes back up, right, it shot out of this value zone, went and bounced up to this value zone. So that's the idea, is like if we have space in between these value zones, there's a high probability of price searching for the next value area. So this is saying, okay, value is built here, buyers gain control outside of this value zone, and then shot immediately back up here and tested this value zone.
Yeah, like to me, like this is how, obviously, if you guys have joined the live sessions before, I'm just marking on like the monthly and the weekly time frame. And not that the lines are random, they're obviously based on support and resistance levels, but this gives more validity. Like it's just more, it's logical. Like you're literally marking down where the most volume kicked in. Like that's what we were trying to look for. But now that we're using this tool, it gives us a more like valid reason to mark the zone.
Right. It gives you more of a general, right, where it's just like, usually your edge of value will sometimes translates to the standard support and resistance levels that you draw on the edge. But I think what's most important is it highlights those point of control, right? So the point of control says this is where majority of transactions have taken place, which then translates, okay, price is probably going to react to this because previously there's been a lot of transactions there. So that's what we'll see price react a lot to those point of controls.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So price, right, came here, popped off this level, came back into this zone, rejected, came back down, right? And then right and tested that point of control here.
What other pairs do you have marked down? Just this?
I got UCAD as well.
Yeah, let's take a look at UCAD. And let's go over like how to like, I want to see an example of I want to go over again, like, you know how when it's flat, you're saying trade the outside of the VWAP, and then when it's trending, trade the middle, the center of control or whatever.
Yep. Yeah, so this actually might be a good example of showing more of a trend, because so we see price has been ranging pretty high, right? It's almost looking more imbalanced now. Like earlier in the week, prices just pushed up,
Mm-hmm.
and we have rejection at this edge of value. And now they've had a strong push to the downside here. So now I'm going to look down at the 5-minute. So based on just context alone, now I'm looking, now that prices fell out of this value zone, now I'm looking at price to reject off this edge of value here and come back down to this point of control.
Yeah, because
then when I put the
it's like two levels there.
Yep, so that's the context. And then for the VWAP, this gives us our daily developing context. So VWAP stands for value weighted average price. So it's pretty much showing the volume profile as it develops. So that's where when we see the VWAP, sorry, my computer's starting to freeze.
It's all good. I actually like that trade a lot. This UCAD trade.
Yep.
Like
so that's where I'll use. Yep. So the basic strategy is, once this starts to start lagging a little bit.
Yeah, no, you're good. Yeah, I have it mapped out.
There we go.
Like this is a great potential position right now.
Yep. So again, just to help you guys get context on what we're seeing here. So the VWAP is just this black line here, right? So this is the average price throughout the day. And then these bands are what we call standard deviations, which is just like a statistical calculation of, it's like the square root of the average price, but we don't have to get into the numbers there, but we go based on half standard deviations. So this dark blue area, that first line is half standard deviation. The first one is a single, and 1.5, and then 2. That's based on the bell curve. You've probably seen that before, which is just saying 70% of, at least in this case, transaction will fall within the average price. So that's saying, you know, if we're saying like 70 or 80% falls within average price, the probability of price going outside is minimal. It's like 2%. So that's why we say when price is on the outskirts, it's way more likely for the price to come back to the average than, you know, drive outside. But that's when the VWAP is flat. which we're not seeing here. So this is going to be an example of more of a trending day, or what we call like an imbalance day. So that's when we'll see the VWAP pointed up or down. So we can see here throughout the day, the VWAP started like in the one session, fairly balanced, it's coming down a little bit, bounced down a little bit early in the morning. And then after the strong push to the downside, right now we can see the VWAP is starting to point down a little bit. So now I'm saying, okay, we're getting momentum to the downside. Now we're looking for price to retrace and reject, because we're looking for that rhythm. So we have originally a rejection off the VWAP here. So now we're looking for a pullback to somewhere around that zone, right? Anywhere around, I usually go a pullback to at least the 1, if not the half, or the VWAP. So this is
Yeah,
where we have some good.
I love that. Yeah, because it's also a nice like break of support there, test of resistance. So that's a good area right there to trade this.
Yeah, I can pull some examples up that just show this a little bit more clearly.
Like
Because
previous
now I'm
trades.
looking at, yeah, because this is just showing, all right, we have a strong rejection here off
I
the
mean, we could literally
3.5
see.
and the
We could
VWAP,
literally
right?
see.
So I'm
I'm
looking
gonna
for a pullback to at least,
hold on. Here.
this might turn into actually a good trade for us right now. Right, because we have the context from the edge of value here, right? So we're waiting for price to come up here, stall a little bit, right? And then once we get any bearish momentum off or rejection off this level, we can probably enter and then target our point of control.
Yeah, I could share a little example yesterday of what we're talking about.
Yeah, your NU trade yesterday.
Yeah, it's looking fairly similar to where we're at right now. So guys, I'm gonna share this trade that I went over briefly yesterday in the New York session with Nick. I'm starting to introduce this tool a little bit more into what I'm doing. I'm not, super experienced with it. Brian's definitely a lot more experienced than I am, but I just noticed I was doing on the live call yesterday a breakdown of NU. Let me just take this off. And I noticed that on multiple time frames here, I was coming to an area that we could potentially reverse. We had this resistance level forming that evening star. So obviously I was high in this area. We had a double top, and then coming all the way down to the 1 hour, we started to break support. So we were just trending bearish on this lower time frame. Then I came down to the 5 minute and I brought this thing on, the trusty old VWAP. And then as you can see, as Brian's talking about, this thing is not flat. Hold on. It's freezing a little bit.
Yeah. That's where this yesterday's example was just way more clear, right? Because that the VWAP is the trend is just down the whole way, right? And earlier in that London session, you can see that price rejected twice off that half deviated band, right? That dark blue area.
Yeah.
So that's where the trend's established. That's pretty much all you're waiting for, right? Is okay, we can see it's pointed down. We have 2 rejections. All you're doing now is waiting for price to pull back. If you have confidence, you can enter or scale yourself in right when it gets to it. Or if you want to take the conservative approach, you could wait for some of that bearish momentum to kick in, right? And wait for like any 5-minute engulfings and you'd be good to go.
Yeah, so I was literally just waiting for either this level to be retested or this level, because obviously this is a bit stronger getting into this zone as resistance. And on the 5 minute, we just had this like bearish engulfing here. So I just kind of entered right there. Stops were above here because it breaks above. We don't really want to be in this trade. And obviously we had resistance here as well. And then my question is for targets. Like I was doing a mixture of bumping up to like the higher time frame, looking where the chart was at and everything, and then hitting the lower time frame and saying like you normally target just the outside band, right?
Yeah, when it's trending, it varies. Because yeah, if it's a steeper pullback, like to the VWAP, it is good to target the bottom band as like a first target. But if you have, that's the thing, it helps to have that context with the volume profile, or if you have other levels marked out, that's fine. Because Angela, I think that's what you had. I think you had some context with like a previous support level, which would
Yeah.
help. But I personally just use the volume composite zones. That's why, like we showed in the example of the UCAD trade, I'll probably target that point of control as a first target. But
Yeah, I haven't yet completely transitioned to using just the volume profile because I haven't tested it much yet. So when I did try to bring it all on, I just started to get really confused. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to work with
yeah,
how I already see things and then bring that on so I can transition into using it. But I can already see that it's really powerful.
yeah, because the volume profile, just the way it's setting up those composite zones can probably be, we could probably just do another educational video on that, just because yeah, it does take a little bit of time to set it up and figure out what to do when the volume areas overlap. But at least with the VWAP, it's a good intraday tool to help set your sentiment, because it definitely can coincide with if you're still marking weekly levels or any previous bottoms of support and resistance.
Yeah. Let's go back to UCAD here. Someone asked if we should set a sell limit on UCAD. I mean, to be honest, this trade as I come down, because again, I'm still using like going through multiple time frames here and trying to size up the best possible position. I did mark this as a composite zone on UCAD right now. So I do have this. I do have a question as well, Brian. Like when we're creating these zones, if like how far back do you go to grab them?
You can go back a year or two, as long as they're not I think as long as there's not a new zone in front of it, then it's fine, right? Like if there's like a previous bottom back in like 2018, it's still there, right? The only thing you want to be cautious of is when those zones overlap. That's because you have new buyers and sellers in that zone creating a new value area.
Yeah, I would love for price to come up more. So someone that said, should we set a sell limit? Do you ever use limit orders, Brian, or you really wait for rejection first?
Yeah, I wait. I do everything manual. Yeah, I don't really set limit prices. I kind of just let price come up, stall a little bit, and wait for that momentum to kick in.
Yeah, I'll use limit orders a bit more just because I'm a nut job. But I'm basing it based on like this would be a nice area to me because it obviously was support. There's also a level back here that was tested. So this is a strong zone if we were to set a limit order on this one, and it's also a round number, 1.26. So
Yep.
if price does make it up to this area and test this area, that'd be a nice zone to kind of catch it at and expect reversal from. But as always, it could reverse or whatever. I don't know. This looks very strong though to the downside.
Yep. Yeah, and the only reason, like, yeah, if when I'm confident, the most I'll do is scale in. I'll rarely set limits just to help reduce drawdown if I can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that's the thing. It's just like, especially dropping down the lower time frames, price can sometimes, there can be a lot of noise down here. So a lot of times I'll just let price consolidate a little bit and then, wait for that momentum to kick in on, either direction.
Yeah, the VWAP. So the way that our VWAP is set, which is actually pretty cool, is it resets every session, right?
Yep. Yeah, it's a daily tool.
Yeah. That's what I like about it because it's like, and you get to see with like the Asian session how the volume, at times will be very dead. It's,
Yep. Yeah,
so
it's because it takes time for price, to push, deviate away from that average price, and that's where the bands start to stretch out a little bit.
all right, we're gonna keep watching UCAD. It's coming up into the zone right now. I wanted to take a look at a few other ones. I'm gonna actually line up. So Brian, you said you're doing you're gonna do the challenge next month, the $250.
Yeah, I just gotta, there's some FX book is being weird with the account. I kind of wanted to reach out to other people and see if other people are having issues verifying it through Prosperity, because I haven't used it before. So for some reason, FX book isn't verifying it.
Yeah, it's annoying. I've used it through Prosperity and verified it.
Okay.
Yeah, so guys, if you want to get in, we're gonna try to do a challenge. Start with $250, and whoever makes the same as last month, except we're gonna do live because last month we did demo. There was like one person who made like 500%, just ripping US 30. We're gonna try to do it live and see what the results are like, and the winner is gonna get an FX Seed 100K account and $500. So I'm gonna post more details kind of about that in the chat today. I already posted them, but I'll post everything again so you guys know what's going on. And if you're didn't do the FX Seed giveaway already, just make sure you guys did that. I see a bunch of people already entered in on that too. Brian, did you enter on that?
Enter on what?
So we're doing a giveaway where we're just giving away one account for the account management that's starting on Monday for free. And
I did not enter that.
yeah, check it out inside of the Telegram.
All right.
Now, how are you trading? Because guys, we're just gonna wait for this position right now, see if it comes up a bit. Can you tell us once more how to use the VWAP standard deviated bands? You want to just get into it a little bit more technical, like just you know what I mean? Even if people can't understand it, like the VWAP, the deviations, kind of what it all means.
Yeah. So
Here, why don't you go ahead and share? I'll keep watching UCAD.
okay. Oh,
Out here looking like fucking white Santa Claus. Jesus.
God.
Somebody get this man a barber. Fuck.
God. You gotta find one down there.
Yeah, man. Gotta figure it out.
All right.
What do you mainly
so
trade? You mainly trade UCAD or GU? You storing food? Oh man.
Yeah, UCAD and GU are the main two. So let me try. Here we go. Let me actually pull up some examples. Let me see if I can find a good example of when the VWAP is flat. Pull up an old trade here. So it's like the two scenarios, right? So the scenario that we're looking at now is when the VWAP is imbalanced, right? So we're looking at the VWAP pointing down. So this is saying price is below the average, right? Momentum's down. And we just look for price to set the trend, which right now, the only trend we're really seeing now is that rejection off the VWAP, which price is kind of coming up to now. So now we're looking for price to stall here, right? Because we have trend established in the VWAP, one rejection. Now we're waiting for a pullback here, which we're having, and we're looking for, this is our evening stars, any bearish engulfings up here, and then, same kind of setup, enter on that rejection. And now the other scenario is when price is ranging, or what we call balanced, and that's when your VWAP is going to be flat, sort of how it started here earlier in the day. So when the VWAP is flat and price is on the outer edge of these deviated bands, we'll long or short here, right? So let's say we're trading this session, we see the VWAP was flattened out. All we do is wait for price to find support here, and then this is where we can target. So if you're gonna target like a flat VWAP and enter on the outer bands, you can first target the VWAP as a first target zone or the opposite side of value. Right, because that's the theory. When it's flat, we're saying that price is balanced or ranging, and price will go opposite sides of value. I just need to pull up a visual of it. So
I'm muted. I'm
that's
trying to be
gonna go on.
gangsters, guys. Just take shorts on UCAD.
It's rejecting pretty low
What,
right now.
what do you normally wait for though? Because I'm more like I'll just put on risk, but what do you normally wait for?
What do I wait for?
Like a double, like you wait for more like a double kind of rejection or something of the zone.
Honestly, usually just the first, bearish momentum candle on the 5-minute.
Mhm.
Like this one I might wait, only for the fact that, it is between, based on context, it is right on the edge of value.
Mhm.
Cause yeah, I would you want to see price reject here even, if you want to sit here and draw this as, a structural zone, right? You do have a bit of support there.
When do you normally, so guys, we're gonna start doing these. What time do you want to hop on for these? Like 8 normally? What's this?
Yeah, 8's probably good.
Because
Just before things kick in.
we got started a little bit later today because what I'd like to do is kind of hop on. We'll run through the overview of like, what tool we're using and everything. And then once we get to this point, we'll just be waiting for potential trades and answering any questions or anything.
Yeah.
One, two,
Yeah, it's like in this scenario, Angela, like if we were in the middle of a value zone, I would be more confident, taking this right away. But because we're on this edge of value, there's a likability of price doing something like that. So this is where we need to be a little bit more patient, just because this is, a high probability zone of price to react.
The only thing that sucks about this is the stops are so small that I'm trying to trade this the instant funding FX seed account, and there's like lot size limits, and the max that you could put on is 1 lot. Like as soon as you go below 27 pip stop losses, you can't do a 0.5%. Like you have to use a smaller lot size.
If your stops are too tight, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, just if your
You're under.
stops are lower than 27 pips, then you have to start using, like your lot size can't go up. Like you're capped at 1 lot. So for example, for this trade that I have lined up, I'd do a 11 pip stop because it just like whatever, 11 pip stop. And because it's less than 27, I can't use like the lot size that would make it a 0.5% risk. What do you normally risk on these? Like 0.25? You said you're increasing your risk a bit now, right?
Yeah, I'm usually half or 1%. It's like when I scale in, I'll go 0.5% and then scale the rest in for a full. There's only been a couple times where I'll risk 2%, right? Like I'll pull in a 1% trade, and then if I get further confluence and I'm pretty confident, I'll throw in another 1%.
Damn, this guy's throwing in 2% out here. Big boy moves.
That's very few and far between.
Yeah, no, I mean, the confidence is certainly building with it.
Yep.
That's why I'm excited
It's like,
to see these sessions.
yep. Yeah, and that's where even like the VWAP will help set, where you place your stops. Because we even have a little bit of structure back here, right? We have previous support around 2605. right? Support, price broke, shot back up, failed to hold, broke down. There's a lot of confluence in this area, right? Especially if we're gonna sit here and say the trend is establishing below the VWAP. Can we get a rejection here? We can confidently place our stops just above the VWAP. And again, our first targets is going to be this composite point of control because price is probably gonna react there.
For sure. So Brian's got a trade, or Sumi's got a trade idea out here for what? UCAD? Let me see. Good old Sumi's got an idea. What is he saying? Entry, stop loss 1.26249. Yeah, so just outside of the high.
Okay, he's targeting the opposite side of the bands. 25734.
Bands make her dance. Yeah, like do you always put your stops outside of the middle zone, or do you actually use the above the like third deviation or whatever and like the high right there?
Yeah, so that's where it's always contextual. You know, it's like if we have a strong trend, right? We're kind of doing what we would do with any type of trend, right? If we get strong rejection in the zone, we can place it just above, you know, where the trend is. But, you know, if we're fading it off the second bands here, like in this example, depending on where you would enter, your stops are previous high or low and targeting the opposite side.
I'm interested to see how this looks on what am I on here? On a GJ. Let's see. 5 minute. Yeah, GU is definitely. Oh, see, I just pulled up GU and I thought, let me show you. Right
You want to
here.
share?
Yeah, I'm gonna share my screen.
Go for it.
You see my screen?
Yep, you're good.
All right, so again, guys, I'm still fairly new to the tool. Like this is more for really scalping. Like, what's the longest that you've held a trade with this? Like intraday?
Yeah, I've held a couple hours before. I've had like a 2 or 3 hour trade, just getting in early, and then you know if you're going from value, right, from if it's like a flat VWAP and you're going from edge to edge, that'll sometimes take a little bit of time. But yeah, it's typically, you know, a half hour, a couple minutes, up to 2 or 3 hours.
So guys, let's look at GU just from the top. Broke this level, retested it, closed below. Coming down to the daily, clearly in a downtrend right here. We're testing some support right there. Coming down to the 4. Broke the support level, came down. Ideally, I wanted to come up to here, but we're starting to reject this area. So with all this in mind, that we're potentially in this like downward trend, 1 hour's trending down, broke the support, retested it twice. You know, now we're hovering below this level. I just came down to the 5 now, and I'm like, could we potentially trade this? And would this be an example of just a flat, more of like a flat freaking trend right here?
Yeah, that's the thing. GU, yeah, it's starting to stay pretty flat, but yeah, it's like we'll see how price reacts to that half.
Like this is ugly.
Yeah, that's where like GU is not, because yeah, even where my GU is in between value zones too, so there's really not, GU could kind of just like consolidate in that area a little bit. Like I'd almost want to see it, you know, break and retest 3757, kind of pretty much where it is now. I want to see price pop up and then come back down and find support. Because if you look back, at the Asian session, in between the Asian and London session where price consolidated, there's that minor level of support created right there.
What, down here?
Pretty much right where price is now. Now go a little bit to the right
Mm-hmm.
during
Oh,
the in between Asian and London, right before the drop.
between
There's that
Asian and London
right there.
over here.
Go to the right, right there. Go up. See that minor level of support?
Oh, this.
Yep. So I have an edge of value marked there. To say price could come up and just reject it right now. So that's where I'm a little hesitant. I wouldn't take a long yet because it could go either way. VWAP's pretty flat right now. See, this is where it's like a little bit of judgment too, right? You kind of have to get a feel for how things adjust because it can go flat to imbalance, right? Price can move throughout the day. I wouldn't be as confident in this trade as I would like Angelo took his short yesterday on you, where it was just downward trend the whole time. We already had a rejection off a certain level, so there's some confluence there. So right now, yeah, price could go either way. I could see it rejecting there or popping above. So I would rarely take a trade on the VWAP, right? Because there's a high probability of price going either direction. So
yeah, like you would want to short it from the top here.
yeah, because if when you're shorting from the top, right, based on the standard deviations and knowing, price stays within that range of average price, there is what, a 5% chance of price shooting up past those bands, and then an 85% chance of price coming back to the average.
Yeah, this is what I would want to see. Price shoot back up in this area and then come down. Let's take a look at UCAD real quick, see what the hell it's doing. We're going to be super patient, guys, in the session right now and try to obviously get in on a good move. I have this little position right here. What we're waiting to see ideally is more of like an actual bearish engulfing candle.
Yep. And almost
Right.
like if you want to, you could even draw a trend line if you want to help kind of visualize it, Angelo. If you want to draw a trend line from the current rise, like draw from that bottom wick.
What, like over where?
At the bottom, starting at 830, just the current like bullish upward trend.
Oh, like this?
Just draw from those wicks. Yeah, just to generalize it a little bit. It's not perfect.
I mean, we could even just go all the way down to the one, realistically. As we can see on the one,
if you want.
As we can see on the 1 minute, it's bullish. Like ideally,
Yep.
we get a break below this, and then that'll be our final little confirmation there. That would be on the 5 minute, like an engulfing. Like without going to the 1 minute, guys, you can just sit on the 5 minute and kind of tell like, this is going to happen, but you can clearly see price broke into the uptrends, trending up now. This is ultimately what we need to happen. Price needs to snap below here, and then that's when we would potentially look for position.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, and that's where you can see it even a little more clear on the 1 minute. There was that little bit of a double tap on the VWAP earlier this morning. So that's what we're looking for. But
so I'm gonna
right now prices.
I'm gonna leave this here, and then I'm gonna set like a little limit here, or an alert right here, because there's nothing doing right now with this. We'll wait for some rejection here. I'm gonna go over some other pairs I was looking at. I haven't looked at GJ at all yet. What is this? Earlier.
Yeah, GJ was pushing to the downside pretty aggressively, so that was kind of a little late on that.
Yeah.
To be entering on anything.
We were looking at this one yesterday. We got golds. Oh shit. What was this yesterday? April 7th. God damn, this thing moved. This thing went crazy. I don't know if I was trying to take a long at the bottom here, but I should have fucking took a long over here. Holy shit. I'm just gonna plug in computer. Now you gotta hop off soon, right?
No, I got a little bit of time.
Oh boy. The almighty UCAD.
UCAD just rejected.
Rejection. Yeah, so we'll wait for this to close. Because again, I mean, the safest bet on this one, guys, would be to realistically have like a 5-minute engulfing.
Yep. It's the same thing, is you want to wait for that candle close on the 5-minute too.
What is this? My buddy's out here sending me stock picks. Do you have any stock Lang holdings? Any ones that you're big on?
Just crypto right now is the big. I've got some on Square.
You got
and
Sushi Swap?
no Sushi Swap. Just Bitcoin and ETH. Keeping it simple. You get any NFTs?
No, me and Nick are thinking of making an NFT. Dude, look at this.
There you go.
Look
This
at
might be pretty good.
This thing's fucking moving. We just gotta wait though. We'll wait for this to close.
Yeah.
You know, obviously I'm big on Tron. I always have been. And dude, I made some good money on Tron. Realistically. And then now I'm looking at Sushi Swap as a potential DeFi project. But I don't know much about it because I'm not trying to really invest anything unless I know about the project.
Right.
You know what I mean? I know Cubans invested in it, which is obviously positive, but I'm trying to wait and see, like, once I do some more research, once I understand it. Like, I understand Tron, dude, like, so well, realistically.
Mm-hmm.
Ah,
Yeah, man, this thing is going now.
yeah, this thing's moving a bit. We'll wait for it to close. There's no reason to if we miss the trade, guys, it's okay. You know, the trade moves in our direction. It validates what we're looking for. You know, if this thing closes in the next 45 seconds, like it is right now, which is fucking really bearish.
It's already
We're
gone.
we're not gonna just short from here. You know what I mean? I'd want it to come back.
Yep. No, at this point it's kind of gone. And this is where, like, if you do have that confidence, that's where, yeah, we could have entered.
We could have entered right here.
Right on that VWAP, right? Because if you go back, we can sit here and say, okay, trend price already ejected at the VWAP. So, you know, if you wanted to take that confidently, you could have just said, okay, I'm just gonna scale in right at the VWAP and enter.
Trust the VWAP.
Place stops right above the previous highs at like 262.
So maybe we'll have a guest appearance. We've got Sumi in the chat. He's out here. I guess he uses the VWAP. Maybe a little bit different you know, setup than we use it as. Maybe we could have we'll try to do some guest people in here. I wanted to start marking in the Telegram people that are members. It'll say next to your name like FX League member. That way, like Sumi's out here spitting game all day in the chat, and people got to realize that, not that like it's in like whatever, like he learned everything from us, but he is a reputable source of knowledge. You know what I mean? Like he certainly is one to look at. Like there's people in the chat giving like random signals, you know what I mean? Like random ass analysis and stuff. And then people will take them blindly, and you know, it's not good. Not good. Not good for people.
Get Sumi on some gold trades here.
Yeah, Sumi, you could just write in the chat. Are you using the VWAP on gold at all? Because I'm actually interested to check that out. Like for example, Brian, right now, what would you target on this?
For UCAD?
Yeah, for you guys.
So right now I would target 2575. That's where I have a point of control, the composite zone.
2575. So you would target this.
2575. That would be first targets. Yeah.
Let's see this. USD
Don't touch
CHF.
it, man. Don't touch it.
What the hell? Damn, this thing's really tanking, dude.
I know, it's going.
Oh man.
But that happens, right? You know, it's just like sometimes it's good to be patient. Sometimes it runs, but you know, we don't want to chase it and get caught off sides.
Yeah, at least it works.
But yeah.
I mean, looking back on it, guys, where could have we gotten in on this? Sometimes there is no entry if you're being this patient. Sometimes there really isn't. Like even on the 1 minute, like I would have wanted price to come back up into this area. And then reject, like it certainly still could right now, realistically. We just had this nice rejection. It could, like, look at this previous area. Came down, came up, came down, came up, came down, came up. Like it certainly still could pull back up right now. What are we up? Where did I have stops on this? $1.2618. Yeah, so when do you move your stops to break even on this one?
Usually, because that's the thing, I'm managing it a little bit more. I'm finding myself not having like set rules. Like I know you guys will go, you know, if you're targeting like a 2 to 3 return, you'll go break even after it goes 1 to 1. But sometimes my trades are 1 to 1. Sometimes they're 1.5. You know, I'm a little bit more flexible with my targets.
I will say one thing.
Yeah.
One thing looking at this in comparison to NU yesterday. Let me pull this up. NU was certainly trending a lot more.
Right.
This is not trending as much. Like I don't know if we have a lot of room for this to push down like right now, realistically. It still needs to, like, this could be the leg. Like it's starting to turn now, and it certainly could push and start to fall out of this bottom here. But let me come up to the 30. Yeah, we've got this. You said you had like a support level like in this area down here.
Yeah, it's because you have the point of control is at, just below 258. And yeah, we do have a little bit of support at 2585, pretty much just where, you can see there. Support's already a little bit of established intraday, so.
God damn.
It's the thing that's just not.
Yeah, I mean, I like this little retest to this level, reject that area, throw stops above here. It's looking good. We'll see if it runs, guys. We'll see if we've got our first winner in the chat. And Bib's trend. How much more confluence you want? That's it to our MITP oversold. So Sumi, are you saying that this is an oversold position? Or someone said USD CHF. I imagine USD CHF is running fairly similar to this one.
Yep.
Let's see, I'm on. So yeah, if you guys got questions, post in the chat. We can cover them related to VWAP or whatever. If you've got other pairs that you want to look at, we've kind of just been focusing on UCAD for now, trying to potentially get in on this. Oversold. I don't know. So if you guys got any questions, post up in the chat. We're gonna kind of just sit on this, watch UCAD a bit. Oh, shit. I actually did enter a little position on this one a bit earlier. So I'm gonna monitor. So what were you saying about monitoring the trade?
Yeah, I don't really have, I don't have like a set rule of breaking even, like pulling stops up. I honestly will just kind of like keep my eye on the trade, and if I see if price isn't reacting the way I expect it to, then I'll kind of just close the trade, or pull it up. I'm not necessarily doing it based on when it hits a certain target point. But yeah, obviously if it's like 70% there, I'll move price to break even, just to not have to manage it. I think that's like, yeah, it's a general rule. If it's 60 to 70% to target, then I'll throw stops to break even. It's probably.
What are you finding that your risk rewards are with this?
Yeah, I try to at least 1-to-1, obviously is the main goal. It's anywhere between, 1 and 3. Majority is like 1.5-ish, but it's the thing. It's like when I take my entries, I'm trying to get to the point where I'm like having minimal to no drawdown.
That's the goal, right?
Exactly. That's the goal.
That's the goal. Like
Not the reality, but it's the goal.
5% drawdown, 60% months.
Oh, God.
That's some wicked fucking result right there.
It's 15 years in the making, right?
15 years. And this guy, Brian, has the balls to learn for 4 months and hop on.
Yeah, full disclosure. Jesus.
Yeah. So Brian, guys, he learned, TA from us, a few other places, and then picked up these tools, the VWAP, this volume profile from another group, and now he's bringing that. He's introduced it to myself. I'm always looking for different ways to become more profitable. So he's been introducing it to myself, and I'm trying to use it more because I see that it's really effective. Someone said, how many setups are you seeing per day? Just curious. Question from Kurt Hall.
So yeah, the fact that I'm only looking at UCAD and GU mainly, I'll probably see like 1 or 2 a day. I'm saying it's like if they're it's saying because they're inverse correlated. So if I'm going long on UCAD, I'll look at GU and see if there's an opportunity to go short there. But yeah, typically it's 1 to 2 per day.
1 to 2. That's 1 to 2 setups, not cookies, guys. Sumi said he sees 5. Sumi, what are you trading though? Are you trading like the VWAP, or what tools are you using to see 5? And it also depends how many sessions you're trying to trade. Like Brian, you only trade the New York, right?
Yeah, I'm mainly I'm first looking at the charts around 7 just to help build the hypothesis for the day, and then usually around 8 is when I start looking to enter trades. And then typically I'm either break even or I'm closing trades by 12, 1 o'clock at the latest. Very few and far between I'll have trades in the afternoon, but my main focus is in the morning when a lot of the volume's kicking in. Typically things start to die down a little bit in the afternoon, so usually in and out between 8 and 12, 8 and 1.
Brian doesn't take losses. We're only closing out winners. I use VWAP for S&P. I've yet to look at the S&P. I don't know much. much about it. Let's see here in the 1 minute. So guys, you can see here clearly we've broken. This is really the trend line that you were trying to have me mark before.
Yep.
This is the
So
trend.
yeah, we
Go ahead.
no, so yeah, you could have caught that on the 1 minute, but I'm usually not dropping below the 5. But
Yeah, I mean, it all just comes down to like this was a strong zone to trade off of because of the fact like at least my composite zone is right here.
yep,
The center was there. We had the V, had the rejection. Now you see we're pulling back a bit. But guys, remember, just like up here, this is, price is going to pull back, push down, pull back, push down. Just because this happened doesn't mean, price is going to push all the way to the bottom. Like there's going to be trends. It's going to come up, push down, come up, whatever. So
yeah, it's still respecting that support zone right now.
yeah, starting to form, this zone on the 1. Why don't you go ahead and share up your screen so I can see where you got your other composite zones marked on this specific pair.
Yep.
Let's see.
All right, we're up. So yeah, I have like 2 composite zones. Let me pull back and help kind of show you where these zones are marked. So this bottom one is from earlier, right? So we have these 2 zones, right? Price zone up ranged here for 2 days, 2.5 days. So that's one composite zone. And then our other one is farther back here. So this is back in February, where we have this zone here. Right, we have 3 profiles overlapping, so we just mark that.
This is where
Right,
price
price
currently,
range.
right?
Yep. So the dotted line here, it's right below it. It's right below it.
Yeah,
Right,
this is
that's
where
what
I
happened.
this is where I marked mine.
Yep. So this is kind of what happened. Right, this is back in February, right? We had a strong push. Price consolidated up in this zone, fell out, came down here, ranged, set a value zone here. So this is the other scenario that we're looking for, right? See price, let me get rid of this. Price ranged and came back and tested this zone 3 times and rejected it. And then came down here. And then shot back up back in this value zone.
Oh shit.
So that's back in February.
Yeah,
Right,
like
so
when
that was back in February. So
when I was marking these up, like I wasn't sure how far back to go. Like, you know what I mean? Like how far back was relevant. But you're saying really just look for the strongest overlap.
yep, strongest overlap. And it's the zone's relevant until there's a new value zone created over top of it, if that makes sense. Right? Like you go back a year, right? And like all-time highs, there could be a value point set there. That's relevant until price gets to that point and creates a new value zone. If it overlaps, right? So that's where I feel like might need to do another video for that, just to help give more context. But yeah, that value zone can go back a couple years. It's just until price comes back in that value zone. We'll range in there, and then if we have 2 or 3 days where it ranges, then we'll mark that, and then that will be our new value area. Because it's just saying, okay, this value was set a year or 2 ago, but price comes back into that zone. Yes, it will respect it, but we're getting new buyers and sellers in that zone, and they're creating a different value area. It might not be too far off, but it could change where that point of control and your zone kind of sits.
Yeah, I want to go ahead and I'm gonna share my screen as so guys, we're still obviously we're monitoring UCAD, right now, waiting to see those that are in the trade, because I'm in the trade from about like up here. where I'm in the trade from where it kind of hit the VWAP. We're gonna see if it comes back up. If it comes back up, kind of double tops in that area and then shows more rejection, that could potentially be a valid area to actually take, an entry on. So we'll continue monitoring this. I want to go ahead and share my screen and kind of mark some more of these zones on here and show everyone because I obviously don't have them on my chart. And then you could kind of help me out. Let's
Yeah,
see.
no problem.
All right, so the tools that we're using, guys, is going to be, let's see. You hear me okay?
Yep, yeah, I got you still.
I got some Walmart ass Wi-Fi in here. All right, so we've got the fixed range, and then which I didn't favor the other one. Which VWAP is it?
Yeah, that one, this deviated bands update.
It's all about them bands, guys.
All
Now,
about
is
the
this
bands.
is this similar to Bollinger Bands at all? I've never used Bollinger Bands.
No, I mean, I haven't used Bollinger Bands in a while. I don't know if, because Bollinger Bands are based on moving averages, right? I think that's
Yeah.
what they are. Yeah, it's not similar because that's the thing. It's like if Bollinger Bands are based on moving averages, then the moving averages are like semi-subjective, right? Where the volume, the VWAP is based on volume and deviations, right? So one's based on volume data and the other one is based on a moving average, which is different. Because the VWAP is again like how it resets, so it's per day. And then I think the Bollinger Bands is overall. But don't quote me on that because I haven't really used them before.
I literally have no fucking idea. All right, let's go ahead and mark some of these down. I'm gonna bring this off. And bring this off, bring this back on, and let's have some fun with it. So right away, I could see we've got this one. Nice little overlap right there. And we've got this one. So would you consider that? Oh, you can see we're coming back a bit now. Would you consider this? Let's see what's going on.
Yeah, I would mark those three.
Let's bring this on. So yeah, guys, pumping back into the level now. Let's see. This. Let's see if it has some rejection here.
Yeah, because that's where I have the edge of value marked right where it is right now. That's the thing, this still could double top, right? It could come back to the VWAP and reject again, and then we'll have another opportunity to get in short if we, if we see any dojis or evening stars up there.
It'd be cool to see though. Don't you have a lot of like previous trades collected on this?
Like screenshots?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say next time because we'll continue monitoring this for like another 15 minutes and then I gotta hop off because I gotta start doing some other stuff today.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say it'd be cool to. I mean, I'd like to see him. I think it'd be good to just kind of do it in the session anyway. I want to see some of the screenshots of other trades, especially when you're trading from like out from the outside of it.
Yep.
And that would definitely be cool.
Yeah. Do you actually want to? We've got a question about setting up the VWAP and the bands. Do you actually want to go through that real quick, or do you want to try and?
Let me see. Yeah, you can show.
Because you've got yours up, you can just quickly show.
Yeah, I could show my screen.
It is a bit of a process. to have it shown up like this, because when you pull it up by default, the levels aren't exactly the same, and like the colors, you can pick your own colors. I just choose blue, just because it's kind of my chart theme. If you want to use red and green, yeah, you can set that too, but it's pretty customizable.
Yeah, no, my screen's just freaking lagging a bit.
Yeah,
We're struggling. Zoom is putting us under. I'm gonna kill my video for a second.
always.
See. Let's see. Oh wait, I got it. All right, yeah. So if you
Yeah,
guys want
so
to
your big,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, so your biggest thing are going to be your inputs in that first tab we said with the, which is just half standard deviations per band. So your first is half, second's 1, your third's 1.5, and your fourth is 2. And your fourth one we just have turned off since we don't need to go past the second standard deviation. So it's where like the below and the check marks, you're just going to have show second, third, fourth, and then you're going to have your show fifth group turned off.
Oh, damn. So Sumi's out here saying we got the wrong bands, the wrong colors, the wrong everything. So we'll do a session with you after, and we'll try to clarify what we have. But you know, I don't know if there's more than one way to do it or whatever. But if you guys want to set these up, just post or just take a screenshot. Obviously, you could just go back. The session is recorded anyway, and you could see, you know, what the inputs are, what we have checked off, and everything like that. And then for this, there's nothing settings wise to do with the volume profile what is it? Volume profile standard deviation or something?
No, the volume profile is just this session. So that'll be under, if you go under indicators, you go and then go under volume profile and the left side.
Where? Here?
Yep, at the bottom, volume profile.
Oh, this.
There you go. So you
Mm,
do session volume, which will show you those daily. And then the fixed range is the one you use where you'll click on that and then you'll click from left to right to combine your daily session volume profiles.
cool. I just want to run through a markup because this thing's obviously coming back to a potential trade right now, coming back into the zone. We'll keep
Yeah.
monitoring this, but I just want to mark down this other level while I have you on the call.
Yeah, go for it.
Let me see. I'm gonna take this
That
off,
lower.
bring this on. Let's bump up a bit.
Yeah,
So
let's go to
like,
the half hours. It's a good one.
yeah, so I've noticed that yeah, the half hour is good. That's your entry. Yeah, I'll check out your post, Sumi. Let's see. Yeah, he like you said, I mean, we're coming back into the potential zone for entry for sure.
Yeah.
We had our rejection, prices coming back up again. So as long as we maintain this level, guys, trades here, stops here. This is what I'm maintaining it at. But let me set this zone up. Take all this off. And I'm one, like, for you guys that have been in sessions with me and Nick, you know, we've always talked about not using indicators, you know, trying to trade naked, all this. But man, this stuff is super effective.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I wouldn't even know if I would consider this an indicator, right? Like this is volume profile, which is based on, you know, transactions of people buying and selling. So
Yeah. So would
that would
you
even,
mark this zone down?
yep. Yeah, I would combine honestly those 3 days because you have that overlap of that volume profile and this point of controls. Yep.
I'm gonna just move this over here. Then we've got, so this would technically be like an overlap situation.
Yep, so that, since that day, so since that is the most recent day, you would delete that older volume profile. So when you overlap that much, what you do is you give priority to the newest day or newest composite and you delete the older one.
So this one you would take off.
Yep,
See, I like that. Keep things clean. Oh, wait.
exactly.
Get this here. Take this one off. So that's what your target is, realistically.
Yep.
It's fucking
So,
magic.
2.5, yep.
It's fucking magic. I would love to see this play out too. This would be a great trade.
I said this 5-minute could be a good entry, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm already in. I've got my stops above here. You know, I'm playing it out. I put in,
Yeah,
I think I put in like 0.5% or like not even.
yep. So that's honestly what I would throw
Like I'm
on
saying,
too.
I'm trading the instant account on FX Seed, and it's
Yep.
hard because the lot size caps. Like when you're scalping like this, it's hard to use 0.5% and 1%. Like because the stop losses are so small.
Yeah. Dude, actually, I would probably enter now. This is looking pretty strong. Pretty much, yeah, where exactly how you have it is where I would set. Enter now, put your stops right above 2612. And you can first target, what would you have, 2575?
Yeah, Sumi, you're on a boat. You're about to be on a boat, dude. He said you only need 10 pips stop. Yeah,
Simi.
we'll get the 10 pip stops. Only good as the team that goes in. Okay.
Yeah, if you want to go more aggressive, you could set your stops right above that previous wick, like 2608.
Yeah, you could literally put the stops right here if you're trying to
Yep.
like, because the reality is,
Yeah.
guys, we enter this trade, you know, it doesn't respect this area, it pops up, you know, we don't want to be in the position. It's going to move above this level, come up to this next deviation up here, you know what I mean? So
Yep.
when you're using this type of tools, you can really keep the stops super tight.
Yeah. Because that's the thing, your validation will be turned pretty quick. So
See, that's what I'm trying to get used to with trading like this, because you realistically find out, you know, the trade within the next hour.
yep, yeah, fairly quickly. But that's where, yeah, that's where you're gonna get your better return ratio when, you know, when you do your stops tight. Because the biggest thing, yeah, your wins and your losses are gonna happen a lot sooner, right? Where like
Yeah.
if you and Nick are doing the swing trades, you're able to sit on a trade for a couple hours, if not days, where you know, you can win a trade, you can hit to return in a couple minutes, but you can also lose it very quickly too. So just gotta get used to it.
Yeah, with the swing trades, you can definitely try to like scale out in a way. With this, you kind of have to live and die by the stop loss.
Yeah, a little bit. Right. And that's where I do find myself managing these a lot more. Right. Because like if I'm entering here, you know, I'm expecting a strong rejection and for price to push down, where if, if we see price like floating up, you have the opportunity to close out at, you know, 0.25% or 0.5%, depending on what you risked. Because that was, I think, the other biggest difference for me is like, yeah, dropping on these lower time frames and doing more intraday and scalping. I am managing it a lot more, you know, before when it was just like swing trade, you can kind of set it and forget it and let it ride, you know, set reminders up for price points if you want, or this is, you know, a lot more managing the trade, watching the charts, you know, which is a whole other challenge, you know, just to try and keep yourself in check and not react to too many things, especially if you're in the drawdown, right? So it just takes some time to get used to.
11 pips. I kind of like it though. Like it's just you're just kind of you're in and out.
Yep. I'd say the confluence is there just between the VWAP and your contextual zones that you sit are kind of the main drivers.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool to have Sumi on the session one time.
Yeah, definitely, since he has a little bit different setups with his band, so it might be good to, show the differences between it, because I know his is a little bit more adaptable to price, where I'm keeping it to the standard bell curve of just the halves and wholes of the standard deviations, where it's okay that it's not perfect, right? So like markets aren't perfect because we're putting a statistical VWAP on a chart where price is influenced by human behavior, which is not perfect. So that's why you see the price push past that second standard deviation sometimes, right? Because some people prices getting pushed, or people are pulling their offers and bids and prices jumping around. Especially in the Forex market, like pairs like UCAD, they're gonna be wiki, they're gonna jump around. Sometimes markets get a little thin. So that's where I'm okay with the bands not being absolutely perfect. It's more about just weighing the probabilities. So Sumi might have a different outlook, but that'll be good for Sumi to make his case for his, and let people, whatever works for them, right?
Damn, we got Tupac joining the session right now.
From the dead, hologram Tupac.
Oh shit, dude. I don't know if you follow UFC at all, but last night there was a fight in one championship, and this guy who was going for the double belt, he got rocked, dude. He got fucking lit up. He got KO'd in like the first round.
Is there still no audiences for UFC? Are they still just?
I think a lot of the fight championship promotions are fighting in Florida, and they have audiences.
Okay.
Fields expected. Yeah. So we're gonna continue monitoring this, guys, in the chat. We're gonna hop off because I gotta simply just do some other stuff. But what I will say is, if price does move back to this level down here, put some stops to break even. Let it ride out. I do like this trade a lot. I do believe that we have a nice target as well with it. And what is it? It's 2.22. So
yep. Yeah, I like the confluence too. Yeah, because this is what I was saying, where it's like there's never move stops when it's 1-to-1 or something. That it's more around just like seeing the context of the intraday price. So that's where we're not going break even on 1-to-1. We're saying, okay, when price hits previous lows or it hits the next band, then we close to break even.
Right, it's all based on the bands.
Yeah, it's bands in context of intraday price. That's where it's not like move stops to break even when we're 1-to-1 or 5 pips or whatever it is. It's more context. So
dude, I think from doing these lives alone, because guys, you got to realize, like, this is my third time using this tool as well, maybe fourth time, fifth time. So from doing these sessions, like, I'm also going to get better and learn. And I was even thinking, because I don't want to pause exactly how I'm trading now and then only trade this. Like, I want to transition a bit. So I might even have this, like these composite zones and everything marked on one chart, my other style marked on the other chart, and then slowly just kind of transition over, so I don't, because there's going to be losses with me just gaining experience, with using everything. I'm going to, like, right now, I'm like fucking think that this is like a superpower, and I'm like taking trades every time it hits the middle. But the reality is I need to look for those better zones. You know what I mean?
yeah, maybe next session, I'll pull up I'll pull up another chart. Maybe we can take a quick poll and see what people want to see. Maybe I don't really trade gold, so maybe I can pull up a gold chart and, run through the volume profile from a clean chart and kind of show how to set that up. That might help.
Yeah, that'd be dope. But I'm super confident in these tools, in this strategy, and it's not bulletproof. There's going to be times when there are losses, for sure. But it's pretty, dude. The indicator is pretty accurate.
It's strong. It's just because they're both based on volume, right? You have the volume profile to set, static developing volume profile for the day. So, very much interrelated and connected. And yeah, saying the strategy is simple. When the VWAP is flat, you do the mean reversion off the edges, and when it's trending up or down, right, your VWAP is going to be pointed up in that direction, and you just wait for that trend to be established, on the VWAP or one of the other bands, and go from there, right? So today was a good example. We had the first initial rejection off the VWAP around 7, and then we had the pullback. We're a little more conservative, so if we were aggressive, we could just entered right when it touched that VWAP and gone for it. But
yeah,
we had that second opportunity, and now we're in. So
yep. Yeah, and it's just like I said, like we were saying, guys, it's not gonna just. Sometimes it will. I mean, NU yesterday did actually just kind of shoot to the take profit, but most of the times it's gonna trend. Like this right here just dumped.
yep.
But
Yeah, and even today on NU, like that would have been
this
a little hard to catch. I mean, yeah, it's pretty clear that it's like we're trending upwards, but you really only had one opportunity to catch that pullback to that half band. And right, it's never going to be perfect. There's there's a little bit of confidence and familiarity with the tools as you use it. So definitely something good to back test, because the VWAPs are going to be different for every pair. So I think that's the biggest thing, is just understand the behaviors of the pair you're trading, especially if you're not always trading on the 5-minute. It's definitely something to get used to, because there's definitely a lot more noise within the candlesticks and the bars. So
yeah, we'll hop on next week. What, on Tuesday? Or we'll talk.
Yeah, we'll try for next Tuesday, but we'll see come early next week.
Tuesday, about that. We'll keep going over. We got on a little late today, guys. Normally we're gonna get on at 8, set everything up before kind of the volume kicks in, and then because it's like 10:30 now. Like once the volume kicks in, then we'll try to get in on more earlier positions. Like what was this? Like we would have still been lining this up, but we weren't able to kind of get through some other pairs. So we're gonna start a bit earlier with these sessions. And again, they will be in the premium signals group for you guys that are interested in joining. We'll have Chris at night. He's gonna trade the London session, and every trade that Chris takes is gonna be on the FX seed accounts. He's an account manager. Every trade that Brian takes on these sessions, he'll be taking on his account. So it's gonna be, you're gonna get a lot of value. You're gonna see the losses, you're gonna see the wins, you're gonna see how everything balances out. And obviously, the hope is to teach you guys how to freaking use these tools too.
Yep. Yeah. And if anyone has any more questions around anything today, just shoot me a message on Discord.
Yeah, we'll get
Brian.
Brian's contact info out there. I'll post it up in the Telegram where they can hit you. I might even, you're in Telegram, right?
Yeah, I'm in Telegram, but I just pushed my my Discord name.
Yeah, we'll get some, the contact for Brian in there, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna upload. I'll upload this session again. We'll get it next week going again. We'll look at some more trades in here. And if you're in the trade right now, guys, I'll monitor it in the chat. I'll put some updates out, as things play out. And again, we're sticking to it. Stops are where they are. If we start to move, like Brian said, to the edge of these bands, we'll look to potentially move stops at that point. But you know, this thing's looking pretty healthy right now.
Yep. Yeah, pretty much when price gets close to like 2583, like the current bottom, I would maybe just move to break even then, or maybe pull some profits if you want. But yeah, looks like we're getting some good momentum right now.
Nice. All right, well, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll catch you guys again next week.
Yep. Thanks for hopping on, guys.
Peace.
Later.